Writing is one of the most powerful forms of self-expression. It can be healing and rehabilitating, especially, our next guest says, for the incarcerated. She's the founder of the Prison Writers Workshop, a program that teaches creative writing to inmates at 4 prisons across the country. She says the results have been dramatic. Kelly would call her a rad human. Please welcome Debra, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Debra. We were just bonding over your experience as a former TV reporter.
That's right.
Which I suspect that kind of curiosity and attention to the humanity in a story is what brought you to this program?
Exactly, it did. So I started out as a journalist. Before that, as a child, I was always very curious and inquisitive. Watched a lot of crime shows, and then my first introduction into my career was at ABC7 in Los Angeles as a paid apprentice. And there I listened to police scanners and watched the reporters and the journalists buzz around the newsroom, and it was just very thrilling.
So you had a long career in journalism. You covered a lot of different kinds of stories. So what brought you to this specific focus?
Right. I had always been, having covered crime, interested in the humanity of it, their backstories. As a reporter, you only have limited time to tell their stories. And so I moved to Indiana in 2011 and was working at a nonprofit, and a colleague of mine had mentioned an opportunity at a prison to be a volunteer. I called the prison immediately, and they said, you know, knitting and woodworking, and none of those sounded appealing. But there was one class titled the Victim Impact class, where the inmates go over a guided workbook and discuss what the victim would feel having a crime committed and how they would heal. And so we did that. And towards the end of that time, about week 5 or 6 of 8 weeks, I said, let's go off script. I had a gut feeling. And so I said, let's put our papers down. It's important, but let's write. Let's write a poem or short story, a letter. We're not going to mail it, but what would you tell your victim? What would that look like? And there was magic happened in that space. There was a lot of tears and healing and beauty.
It's almost like they were waiting for someone to bring that out of them, and you were there. So you created an entirely new curriculum for this program. How did you design it, and what has worked?
It's a 12-week creative writing workshop, 90 minutes. It weaves in poetry and short stories, fiction, nonfiction, the elements of creative writing. And so that allows them to understand themselves and to reflect. And it's been surprising hearing about all of their traumas and experiences that many of them have faced.
Sounds like they've been very open and honest in their writings. This has been an outlet for a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Has it changed, from your point of view, the way you view people who are incarcerated since you started this?
Yes, I thought initially very hardened men, very tough, kind of tattoos from head to toe. You know, I was very, really didn't know as a reporter. I thought, again, those things. And what I learned was just the opposite, or what I saw was just the opposite. Very sensitive souls, very soulful people, and many of them had been misunderstood or the outcast, and we don't make excuses for the crimes that they have committed, and we are very respectful to the victims and the victims' families. We're using that space to write and to heal.
And you've really made some personal connections with a lot of the people who've come through your program. Can you tell us about some of those?
Sure, I have. Many of the men and women have gone on to do amazing things. One person in particular is a man named Chris, who is now released. He was sentenced at a young age and served 20 plus years in prison, and he was in that first group at Plainfield Correctional in Indiana. And what I discovered in interacting with him along with the others, him in particular, is that he really opened up and he took to the class, and he says that it helped him explore creativity and become a good human. And so he is now, thank you. Thank you. Since Chris has been released, he's now married, gainfully employed, has children, and is a talented musician. So he still uses writing today. So that's just one of many stories.
Chris, we're so happy you're here. It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So can you tell us from your point of view what Debra's class has meant to you over these years?
To put it plainly, it meant the world to me. It was a bulletin on the in the cell house that I was in, and it said, the thing that sold me was, it said, you get non-measurable intangibles out of this class, and which signed me up, you know, because it's a lot of things in life that can be counted. My house is this many square feet, my car is this much, but they don't really things that count, like versus somebody just really seeing your humanity, like that means the world, and it can't be quantified.
Yes.
So that right there is what sold me.
So you sign up for this course. Do you remember the early writing assignments? What was it like?
I remember the first 2 prompts. Like, she gave us the first prompt, because you only get 15 minutes to write. And the first one was, if you was a bird, would you fly with the flock or would you on your own? And a lot of people work from observation, but me, I immediately became the bird. I was like, man, it's cold up here, you know? And the second one was, what's gonna be your biggest challenge upon your release? Which for me is time, because everything competes for time, but nobody should have to compete for your importance.
Well said, well said. So Deborah, how has this program changed you? We talk about how it changed the way you view people like Chris, but even bigger than that, what has it meant to you personally?
Whew, that's a big one. No, it's changed really who I am as a person, really. I'm a very logical, analytical type of person, very goal-oriented, not very vulnerable. And so that class really opened me up to embracing my own vulnerabilities and being a better person myself, in that I can, show that softer side of me.
Sure, with the help of people like Chris.
Exactly.
Chris, I understand you wrote a little something before you came in today.
Yeah, it's a book that my record company, Front Porch Records, we print up on our own. But I wrote this whole book when I was in prison. It's filled with writing prompts from the writing class. And this was a poem that I wrote called Sunday, Sweet Sunday, because Sunday was the day that we had our classes. Do you really think that you just make a day, or that you just uplift a week, or that your bi-monthly brightness just helps one or two to bypass the darkness from the shadows of steel bars? Do you really think that you just made a year fly, or that you just turned mere dreaming into live streaming? Sunday, sweet Sunday, your presence makes a difference, and so does your absence. And your passion has changed at least one life forever.
Oh my God. Beautiful. What does it mean to hear that?
Mic drop. Just knowing that I've changed one person and that he's the success story from the program is really, it's icing on the cake. I mean, it's expanded into a few states, and just to know that first class, all of the men are thriving, they're doing great, and we're just full steam ahead, just keep on keeping on.
You've made a difference.
Thank
You really have. We just saw it right there. Thank you. Chris, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Willie.
Beautifully written. Beautifully written. Thank you both.